Flora Spiegelberg was a wonderful storyteller. And in fact, she had a radio program in the 1930s for children out of New York. And she told stories. And she invented a lot of things. And one of the stories that is told, and it's been perpetuated by some other relatives, about one of the Staubs, one of the women, were going to Trinidad by stagecoach or whatever. And along comes Billy the Kid, and he holds up and inside the Staub says, "Now Billy, you know better than that," and he went away. That's a fairy tale. Another one that Flora tells was that Billy and Willie Spiegelberg went swimming naked in the Rio Grande. And why? Well, Billy the Kid is a hero, sort of, a key figure in the history of New Mexico. And so why did these stories? Because Jews wanted to tie themselves to Mexico history. It makes them part of the landscape. That's why. There are also stories about Samuel Florsheim. Story comes from the Florsheims. He was, originally Florsheim worked for Staub. And then they had a parting of the ways, and he moved up north and he established his own commercial empire in northern New Mexico, and especially ranching. I mean, he was one of the biggest sheep ranchers in the region, New Mexico and Colorado. At one time, I think he had 60,000 head of sheep. Yes. But, so the story is he was down in Fort Sumner, and he walked into a bar, and he wanted to get some water or something, to drink. And Billy is there. And Billy says, "You get this man a real drink, whiskey." And Florsheim said, "Well, I don't generally drink, You're going to drink." And he forced Florsheim to have the whiskey. That's another story. I mean, see, Billy is a folk hero, and so he winds up everywhere. And he wasn't everywhere, all right? And he didn't hold up stagecoaches. He was a rustler, all right? He and his gang wrestled horses and cows for the most part. He was, an outlaw. He never killed as many people as they said. That's also an exaggeration. He died at 21, and they said, well, he killed 21 men, one for each year of his life, and that's nonsense. Maybe he killed 5 or 6 at the most. And part of it was a war rival gangs in Lincoln County. But he's a folk hero, and so Jews and non-Jews have created all these stories to associate themselves with Billy. The stories with Abraham Lincoln and the like. Any folk hero, people gravitate to them and want to make the connection. They want to make the connection, right?
Yeah.
There are also stories about, Rémy runs out of money to finish the cathedral, and so one of the famous stories. There may be some truth to it, is that he was a guest, he was watching a poker game in Santa Fe, and the Staubs were there, and Abraham Staub, and some of the other Jewish merchants and the like and others. And Rémy looked glum, and Abraham Staub said, what's the matter, Father? And he said, well, I don't think I have enough money to finish the cathedral. And so Staub took his winnings from the poker game and gave them to the Archbishop to finish. That's one of the stories. That could be invented, but there's no question that the Spiegelbergs and the Staubs were among the original subscribers to the building of the cathedral. It was part of civic duty. But you see, they're part of the community. And at the time, if you wanted to do something for the community, well, I mean, the church was a key institution. So today it would be something else that you would do, give money to, but in those days it was the church or the cathedral. And the cathedral is the pride of, Santa Fe. So there you have it.